Welcome to the Chillness Room. This is Kyra. This is episode 7. On the subject of socks. Now, what I know to be true is that I tend to feel some hardship, difficulty, pain, anger, frustration, irritation, unresolved emotion, fears, doubts, disconcerting moments. I feel all of those things, and I act on them sometimes even. And there are times that in this chillness room where we come together, I would be remiss if I didn't say or acknowledge at least that there are these things that happen in our lives, in our experience. And so I can't spend too much time there. I can't spend too much time in my mind around anger, fear, frustration, doubt, withholding of energy or love. If I do, what naturally happens is I just begin to see more and more and more and more of that in my experience. I become more and more aware of all of those negative things. And I don't think I came into this life to experience only the hardships, only the negative things. The first part of my life, I assumed that everything was meant to be bad, hard, difficult, challenging, that nothing came easy. Everything was just a little bit harder, it seemed, than everyone else. But when I start to recognize and realize that I controlled a lot more than I understood, that I had the ability that through the shaping of my directed attention, through the shaping of my awareness and what I chose to focus on, even when the things were really, really horrible, I could become empowered in those moments to say, what do I want? Yes, all of this is true. All of this is hard. All of this is horrible. Sure. But do I want to stay here? And how long am I willing to do that? So, right now, with you and me in the chillness room, we're going to talk about something that has nothing to do with anything, nothing to really do with anything, but has a massive impact. Now, you're going to have something else that you love so much that it brings you so much joy and peace and balance and wholeness and ease to pay attention to focus on, to have awareness about. So, but for me, this is what I feel so connected with. And maybe you'll just go along with me on the ride for this one, or maybe you'll remember that thing that also inspires you. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona for 13 years. I didn't need socks. I was always in bare feet, or I would wear slip-on shoes or that kind of thing. And I only put socks on if I was going to hike a mountain, which very rarely ever happened, or took a walk in tennis shoes, or if I were going to our little downstairs gym in our apartments. Socks by no means were a necessity. And so I just didn't think about them. They weren't a part of my life. I didn't need them. When I moved to Oregon, where it gets cold, I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have any socks. And all the socks that I have go below my ankle. So then I went on a search for socks. And I was like, you know what? I don't even know. So I'm going to get the biggest, fluffiest, heaviest duty socks there are. And I got those and I was like, oh my, I think I have a problem because now I want all of the socks because suddenly my feet were feeling more comfortable. And it took a little bit of time to acclimate. I had to get into a hot bath and those kinds of things because my feet were absolutely frozen, my friends. And so I would get out of the bath and I would put the socks on and I would keep all of that heat in. And it would be so incredibly glorious. And then I was like, what other kinds of socks are there? So I was on a work trip and I had done an event. And while I was at the airport, I saw a store that was entirely made of socks. And I was like, what? So I go in and I find the softest, the smoothest, the silkiest, the most yummiest socks on the planet. And I buy 2 pair. And I'm like, wow. So I've got these socks now, and I'm changing my shoes and I'm putting my new socks on, and I am completely delighted. But not only that, but while I was in the sock store, I went and there was this young man there, and he was so gentle and he was so kind. And there was such busyness outside of the store. I mean, people were upset, people were anxious that their planes weren't arriving or leaving or doing their thing on time, and everything was happening really fast outside of this sock store. And this young man was so gentle. He was the epitome of a chillness room in human form. And I'm just seeing this incredible contrast of me buying these delicious socks and looking out to the crowd pushing past each other to frantically go to a place that they're probably going to just go and sit for a while longer. And I remember it so clearly and vividly. And these delicious socks, as they came home with me, I was like, well, what else is there when it comes to socks? And so when I think about socks in general, I think about how warm they are and how snuggly they are and how effective they are and how gentle they are and how beautiful they can be and how soft they are. And I love that I can put on 3 pairs if I want to put on 3 pairs of socks. And then I get into the feeling of, oh, what about house slippers? Oh, I love a good house slipper. Oh, I love all of that. I love feeling that comfort. And, not only that, but I love my home. I love how I can just be in this space and be warm and cuddly and snuggly and allow for good moments of peace and effortlessness to just roll through every single part of my being. And what I'll invite you to do is to go and find for yourself that sock bliss. Maybe it's not socks, maybe it's something else, but whatever it might be, whatever it is, I invite you to find that for you. Until we meet again, friends, have a beautiful day, because you know what? All is well. So happy sock blessings to you always.